All right, guys, here it is. This is a Yamaha. It's a 2021 Yamaha YZ250FX. It's a brand new dirt bike to the crew here at Backcountry Live. It was a used bike. I'm going to tell you the story on how we got this. It was a little bit of an adventure, so hold tight. Don't forget, guys, sometime in this video I'm going to give you a little keyword to use that gives you a chance to win a t-shirt or a hat. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, welcome back. So we're going to be telling you the story on how we picked up this blue dirt bike behind me. Now, I apologize, I don't really have any footage of actually when I bought the bike. The gentleman didn't really feel comfortable with me filming him, and he didn't really want to be on YouTube. So here we are, it's back in the garage. We're going to tell you the story, but we're going to back up a little bit. So a couple years ago, when Richard decided he wanted to get back into dirt biking, I started looking for a bike. Now, I had a couple bikes in mind, and I really wanted to get a 250 4-stroke for Richard and also for me to ride. They're really fun bikes, and they're really solid and not super intimidating. Now, granted, Richard is a beginner, but he has also ridden machines before, so I didn't consider him a beginner, but anyway, we wanted to get a bike that he felt comfortable and confident on. I actually wanted to get one of these blue bikes, a 2020, but they were really hard to find, and be honest with you, I'd heard in the industry that they were kind of like the unicorn of all bikes, and I really wanted one, but I didn't really want to buy a new one and pay a new price. So I couldn't find a good deal on a YZ250FX, a 2020, because the 2020s, they completely changed everything for the YZ250F and FX. Whole new bike. It was awesome. I ended up getting a Honda, so we have the 2019 CRF 250RX bike. We got a really good deal on that. It was used, it had like 8 hours on it. It's been a fun bike, learned a ton about it, been riding it a bunch. We've almost had it for almost 2 years. It's time to switch colors. We are going to stay with the 250 4-stroke for Richard and also I, and we're going to sell the Honda. So anyways, I started looking for dirt bikes to replace it with, and had a couple bikes in mind, but as with used dirt bikes right now, it's pretty much impossible to find used bikes, and you can't buy new bikes. And I didn't really want to buy new because I didn't want to pay the premium of buying a brand new bike. So I was looking on our local classified for months, and it's been slim pickings, as you all know, with the way COVID's been and the way the economy. It's been kind of a bit of a nightmare for those that wanted to buy dirt bikes. Great for if you want to sell, but everything was overpriced and too much, and I just didn't ever find the right deal until I found this bike. It was crazy. It was I was looking in the classifieds, and there's multiple sections, and they have like the used and the new dirt bikes. Well, it turns out this was in the new dirt bike, even though it's a used bike. And the way he had named his ad, it didn't really show up very well, so he didn't have that many views. It had been listed for like 20 or 30 days. So I'm like, a long shot. Basically, the guy was like, I bought this bike, rode it down the road or for an hour, and decided I didn't want that, and I wanted a boat. So he didn't want this bike anymore. So I was like, if this is the opportunity and the price was right, so I was like, I'm gonna send the guy a text. So I send the guy a text, and it's a Monday, and I'm like, hey, is this bike still available? What's the story on it? Blah, 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 as you do. And he ends up texting me back and is like, well, I got a guy coming, and he's going to give me this price for it. And it was lower than what he had listed. And I was like, hey, how about I give you $100 more cash today? And he's like, okay. Well, the problem is he's 4 hours away from where I live. So I get my boy Milo, and we jump in the truck, and we head down to get this dirt bike. And of course, as it goes, like, it was a crazy drive down. We had tons of rain. One of the cities that we drove through, the entire city was flooding, and there was water all over the road. in the freeway, and it was actually pretty scary. It was took me a little bit longer than I thought because of slow traffic and the flash flooding that was happening everywhere.
The parking lot is flooded.
Oh, I missed it. Dang it.
Dad, there was a car underwater.
Anyways, we ended up getting to our destination, and you know, the gentleman didn't want to be filmed, which I obviously want to respect that. But the whole time driving down, I was worried, like, is this real? Like, am I going to get there and the bike's beat up? And I was like, what if I just wasted, almost an 8-hour round trip for a bike that really wasn't as good as he said. And he wanted to meet in a grocery parking lot, which, I get that. And turns out he meets me in the grocery store parking lot and decides, hey, I actually got a whole bunch of other stuff. You seem like a normal human. I don't know what that means. I'm probably not normal, but he ended up going back to his house, and he gave me a whole bunch of little goodies. But this bike literally is brand new. I could not believe it. It had barely been ridden. And I was like, I told him thanks, but I was like, I need to get out of here before he changes his mind, because it did not have a scratch, scuff, had no dirt on it. The tires looked brand new. It was amazing. Now, this does not have an hour meter on it. It actually has the Power Tuner app, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Once I figured out how to use the Power Tuner app, it had 0.5 hours on it. So, brand new. I got this at a decent price. I wouldn't say I wasn't a steal, but I got it at a great price. Obviously didn't pay full price for it because it was quote unquote used. Took it off this gentleman's hands. He seemed pleased, and I drove home. So, more about this bike and why we wanted to get it. So, like I said, in 2020, they totally revamped the Yamahas. Now in 2021, they didn't really change anything because they had done a huge update to the bike. And all the industry, like mentioned, said this is a great bike. It's becoming fastly one of the favorite 250Fs, and I really wanted to try one out. I'm a big fan of Yamaha. I loved our YZ. We had a 2018 YZ250X. It was one of my favorite top 5 bikes that we've ever owned. And so I had to get my hands on this and try it out. So we're going to give you a little bit of specs. So this is the YZ250FX. It weighs around 245 pounds wet. That's what Yamaha's claiming. And it has around 38 horsepower. And it comes with an 18-inch rear wheel. It comes with a kickstand and electric start. Then up on the handlebars, you have a 2 map setting, aggressive map and a less aggressive map. So you would push it and it turns blue, and you got to do this when it's in neutral, and it'll change the maps. Now here's something unique about this bike. So like the Honda has 3 different map settings, and that's normal to have a little button. And you really just kind of get what you get, unless you have some fancy software, ECU flash or whatever, to be able to change your ignition mapping and also your fuel injection, to change those mappings for this dirt bike. But Yamaha has a really cool thing called a tuner app that you can download and push different map settings to the dirt bike, and it'll push it to either the 1 or the 2. And you can do that. You turn on the bike, connect to its Wi-Fi. There's a little black box that has a specific code or password for the Wi-Fi, and basically then push whatever map you want to it. And I've been playing with that a little bit, and I'm pretty excited. It's pretty cool. So, really good front forks. So this has the KYB forks. Yamaha is well known for their front forks. I'm excited to ride this bike and see how it feels. And let me know in the comments below, you guys, if you think we did okay, or if we made a mistake, or if we should have got a different 250 4-stroke. But I'm excited. It has a different motor, so the motor's actually tilted the other way, and so the exhaust comes out the rear and then wraps around and comes out the back. So Yamaha does that because they are trying to get a better center of gravity on the dirt bike and try to get a better balanced overall bike. So anyways, guys, let me know, like I said, in the comments below. But before we end, I want you to comment below in order to win a hat or a t-shirt of your choice from Backcountry Life's website. And the hashtag is flash flood. So type in a comment plus a flash flood, and we're gonna pick a winner, best comment kind of a deal on who can win. So comment below. We'll get you guys a shirt or a hat, whatever you guys feel like. And thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you out on the trails.